Thank you for joining me for another episode of A White Woman in Distress. This podcast is dedicated to raising awareness for missing children, teens, and adults who have vanished under heartbreaking circumstances. My mission is simple: to keep their stories alive and to help bring them back to their families. In a world where media coverage isn't always equal, it's vital to recognize that many cases go overlooked. Marginalized groups, including Indigenous people, people of color, the LGBTQ+ community, runaway teens, and homeless individuals. They often face systematic barriers leading to underinvestigation and inadequate attention. These groups deserve to have their stories heard just as loudly, whether it's the jurisdictional complexities affecting Indigenous women and girls, the media bias towards missing people of color, or the stigmas facing runaway teens and those living on the streets. These cases remind us that real change is needed. Grassroots efforts, community engagement, and legislative advocacy are essential in turning the tide. You don't have to be on the front lines to make a difference. Even small actions like sharing information or providing anonymous tips can play a crucial role in bringing loved ones home. Every family deserves answers, and every missing person deserves to be found. Before we dive into today's story, please be aware that content may include themes of violence, sexual assault, or other distressing topics. Listener discretion is advised. Today, we're going to be covering the tragic and mysterious disappearance of Erica Marie Brown, a woman who went missing in August 2023 from Fairfield, California. Erica's story is a heartbreaking example of domestic violence, a pattern of control and abuse, and a shocking disappearance that is yet to reach its full resolution. Join me as we unravel the case of Erica Marie Brown, who was a 36-year-old woman from Fairfield, California. She was a devoted mother, a beloved friend, and a hardworking individual who was well liked by those who knew her. Erica was known for her warm smile, positivity, and her ability to just light up a room every time that she entered. She was 5'5", around 100 pounds, and she was very petite, with black hair and brown eyes. And she had a distinct mole on her forehead above her left eyebrow. Erica's friends and families described her as the life of the party. She was always smiling and bringing joy to those who were always around her. But beneath her vibrant personality, Erica was struggling with a controlling and dangerous relationship. She lived with her boyfriend, Mark Anthony Randle Jr., in a home on Sunrise Drive in Fairfield. Their relationship was marred by jealousy, control, abuse, and it would soon take a tragic turn. So I'm going to start by going over the timeline of Erica's disappearance. Erica was last seen at her home in Fairfield on August 20th, 2023. That evening, she had been home with her boyfriend, Mark Randle. No one could have known at that time that this would be the very last day that Erica was ever seen alive. 5 days later, on August 25th, Erica was reported missing. It was unusual for Erica to go this long without contacting her friends and family, and they were immediately concerned for her safety. Despite this, it would take several more days for the case to take a chilling turn. And the fact that she was with her boyfriend and he didn't report her missing, but then 5 days later, her family and friends were like, okay, this is too long now. Like, this is way too long for her not to say anything to us, is really sad because that just feels all kinds of suspicious to me. On August 31st, the Fairfield Police Department issued a warrant for the arrest of Mark Randle, which was, again, Erica's boyfriend, on suspicion of her murder. By this point, investigators had gathered enough evidence to believe that Erica was no longer alive. Although her body hasn't been found yet and no one knows where she is, Mark Randle was now a fugitive and he was on the run from the law, which again, very suspicious and makes me feel like he's guilty. Now, we're going to dive deeper into the investigation and the evidence that led authorities to charge Mark Randle with Erica's murder. Authorities wasted no time in pursuing leads. 2 vehicles linked to Randle were both discovered, both of which were reported stolen, and both contained crucial evidence related to Erica's disappearance. The first vehicle was a Chevrolet Malibu, was found abandoned and burned in Richmond, California. Despite the fire, investigators were able to recover bloodstains from the car's door, and DNA testing confirmed that it was the blood that belonged to Erica. The second vehicle, a black Mercedes, was found abandoned in Vallejo, California. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. Inside the trunk of the Mercedes were 3 empty gas cans, suggesting that they had been used recently. Obviously, the other car, that's both of them are magically stolen, and then one's on fire, the other one has gas cans. That's suspicious. But it suggested that they had recently been used, which obviously the other car had been on fire. Randle's fingerprints were also found inside the vehicle. The discovery of these vehicles raised alarm bells for all of the investigators. It was becoming clear that foul play was very much involved, and the suspicion of Mark Randle only grew stronger, considering, again, that he didn't report her missing. It was her family and friends who did 5 days later. A pivotal moment in this case is when Randle's mistress, Jan Agakinski, agreed to testify against him. Again, I'm so sorry, Jan, if I mispronounced your name. It is nothing personal. I just have a really hard time pronouncing words. Jan had initially been charged as an accessory to murder after the fact, but prosecutors dropped the charges in exchange for her testimony. According to Jan's testimony, she had been at Randle and Erica's home on the night of August 20th, 2023. When she arrived, she found Erica laying in bed, nude and covered with a blanket. Erica's face was battered and bloodied, and her pulse was faint. Jan testified that Randle admitted to her that he had hurt Erica during an argument. She left the home but returned a few hours later only to find that Erica had died. Jan also provided a disturbing account of what happened next. She said that Randle planned to dispose of Erica's body and that he intended to use a large blue tote to move her remains. They checked the neighbor's security camera, which actually captured footage of Jan moving the blue tote out of Randle's Chevrolet Malibu, making space for him to load Erica's body into the vehicle. So she really is an accessory at this point. She's 100% helping because she knew what the plan was and she helped. The tote was later found in Rio Vista, California, a location that matched Randle's cellular phone records from after Erica's disappearance. Despite the overwhelming evidence against him, Mark Randle's defense team attempted to argue that Erica died from an accidental drug overdose, not any harm inflicted by Randle. Which again, regardless of what happened, if it was a drug overdose, he could have just called the police and, not disappeared. Because when you go on the run like that, that's suspicious. And the fact that he was abusive to her is also a red flag. So, your red flags are starting to add up there. His attorneys claimed that Randle panicked after discovering Erica's body and that his actions, which were disposing of the body and fleeing the area, were the result of fear and confusion. However, this defense fell flat in court. There was no evidence to support the claim that Erica had been using drugs, let alone that she had even died from an overdose. In fact, her employer testified that Erica was a model employee who had shown no signs of drug use in the time leading up to her disappearance. She was doing well at work and was even being considered for a promotion to a managerial position. The jury luckily was not swayed by Randle's defense, and after just about 5 hours of deliberation, they returned a guilty verdict. Which, yay! Because all his red flags added up, and I don't know what he expected, and I don't know why he didn't just say he did it, and you didn't make any sense. Mark Randle was convicted of first-degree murder in the death of Erica Marie Brown. But despite the conviction, one crucial question remained unanswered. Where was Erica's body? Where is she? The conviction of Mark Randle brought some measures of justice to Erica's loved ones, but their search for answers continued. Erica's body has never been found, leaving her family and friends without the closure that they so desperately seek and deserve. Erica's friends, Megan Armstrong and Nisha Criff, have been vocal in their continued fight for justice. They refuse to give up hope that Erica's remains will be found and that they are determined to bring her home so that she can be laid to rest with dignity. As Megan tearfully expressed, at the end of the day, we are still on a mission to find her. The trial was especially difficult for Erica's friends and family. And I'm so sorry that you guys are going through this right now. It's miserable, and I have no idea what you're going through. Just would like to say that I'm so sorry, and I will help you to keep her story alive because she deserves to be found, and she does deserve to be laid to rest properly. They had to sit through the testimony that revealed the horrific violence Erica endured in her final hours. Nisha Criff, who had been friends with Erica since the 3rd grade, described the trial as like living in a real-life horror film. Nisha and Megan both described Erica as a bright, positive presence in their lives, someone who was just always smiling and full of life. Erica was a devoted mother to her daughter, and her friends missed the simple joys of just spending time with her. Despite the conviction, the emotional toll of Erica's disappearance continues to weigh heavily on those who loved her. As Megan said, it's hard to deal with that the trial is over, everything is over, everyone is moving on, and she's just out there somewhere. Erica's story is a devastating reminder of the dangers of domestic violence and the impact it has on victims and their families. According to her friends, Erica's relationship with Randle, was marked by control and manipulation. He was described as antisocial and controlling, isolating Erica from those who loved her and ultimately resorting to violence. Domestic violence often escalates over time, and the signs are not always visible to outsiders or even people around them. Erica's friends were shocked when they learned that the abuse that she had suffered. They had no idea of the dangers that she was in behind closed doors. Unfortunately, Erica's story is not unique because thousands of women face similar circumstances every year, and so do men, and many don't survive it. It is important to raise awareness about domestic violence and to encourage those in abusive relationships to seek help. Organizations like the National Domestic Violence Hotline provide resources and support to individuals in need. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please reach out for help. The hotline is available 24/7 at 1-800-799-7233. Erica Brown's story may not have a happy ending, but there's still a lot of work to be done. Her remains have yet to be found, and her loved ones are still searching for closure. If you have any information that could lead to the discovery of Erica's remains, please contact the Fairfield Police Department. Any tip, no matter how small, could make a difference. You can also support Erica's family and friends by sharing her story. Raising awareness about her case keeps her memory alive and helps ensure that justice continues to be sought for Erica. And again, if you know of anyone or if you are in an abusive relationship, please seek help because you don't have to settle. You deserve better. Please seek help. Thank you for listening. Let's work together to keep Erica's story alive and continue to search for answers. Join me next time as we continue to explore the stories of those who've disappeared. Stay safe and take care of each other. Stay vigilant. And as always, remember, if you see something, say something and do something.